Hello everyone, welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and in this unboxing video, we are going to be checking out World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King from Z-Man Games. This is part of the Pandemic system of games. So of course, if you've played Pandemic before or any of the number of different iterations for this particular game, then you'll be familiar with what the gameplay likely entails for you. Of course, with this IP attached, this is going to drop some interest for those of you that have a connection to World of Warcraft, either from the past or maybe even present. So without further ado, let's go ahead and check out every single component inside the box. But first, let's take a look at the back of the box where it does state you can play the game solo. It mentions right here, for far too long, the malevolent Lich King and his undead scourge have threatened the world of Azeroth from the frozen continent of Northrend. Now, legendary heroes set out with one purpose: to challenge the Lich King in his mighty fortress and destroy him once and for all. Now, the game's going to have you play as legends of the World of Warcraft universe, of course, and lead the invasion of Northrend. Stand together as you slay hordes of vile undead, defeat lurking threats across the land, and finally storm the gates of Icecrown Citadel. Can you save Azeroth from the merciless Lich King, or will Frostborn, his cursed blade, claim yet another soul? Opening up the box for the very first time, of course, you're going to be greeted with the rulebook. We're going to go through a number of pages in this to give you an idea as to how it's laid out. Then underneath of this booklet, you're going to find some punchboards we also need to go through. Opening up the rulebook, you're going to find the setup instructions right here. It actually is 2 pages in length, but everything is laid out very nicely, very easy and visual to see. The game then jumps into key concepts, things around the Scourge, the dice, the quests, and then of course jumping right into playing of the game itself, where it states here that players were taking turns doing 4 actions, drawing 2 hero cards, spawning ghouls, and then activating abominations. Skipping forward a couple of pages here, we get to the winning and losing section of the game. So it states here, if the despair marker reaches the bottom of the despair track, the invasion of Northrend fails, the Lich King's terrible plans come to fruition, and all players immediately lose the game. Now, if you complete all 3 quests and then complete the Icecrown Citadel quest, the players defeat the Lich King and immediately win the game. Near the back of the rulebook, you're going to find the solo play section, the one that most people watching this video are intrigued by, and it states right here you can play solo coordinating the efforts of 3 heroes using a single hand of cards. There are 2 changes to the overall setup that are bulleted out here in the setup section, and then it runs through the playing of the game and some fine points that you need to know, as well as some frequently overlooked rules that are worth noting. But again, all of this stuff is noted in this back section of the book, so there really isn't much to change regarding playing this game solo. And as you expect, when you get to the back of the book, you've got the credits laid out here. You have illustrations, of course, using the IP throughout the booklet, and it does a good job of laying those out. The rulebook is not very long, about 10 pages or so of reading. Here is a look at the only punchboard inside of the game. Both sides have the exact same illustrations on them, so I won't be flipping this over. It's also completely wrapped in shrink as well. Here is a look at the game board. There's a couple of the corners that are cut off in this shot. I will lean the camera over to the left and right so you guys can see everything, but it is very, very vivid in its color usage. And of course, for fans of World of Warcraft, I think they're going to be pleased with what they see here. Taking a look at the left-hand side of the board, you'll see here the player turn is actually broken out right on the board itself, and at the very, very top, you have the Scourge track as well as the Scourge deck and Scourge discard all labeled out. On the far top right-hand side, we have the Despair track, and down below in the bottom right where it was cut off earlier, you can see the hero deck placement and the hero discard as well. It's worth mentioning that the game board itself was shrink wrapped inside the box. I, of course, took that off in order to show you guys the whole game board. Now we're seeing things inside the box in the lower half of it where we have miniatures, dice, and cards to go through. I have 5 trackers in my hand as well as 2 dice. I'll show you a couple of sides of these dice as well. From one of the bags of miniatures, there is 2 different molds inside of that bag. There's a whole bunch of them, but there's 2 different sculpts essentially. And that's because, of course, you're going to find a ton of ghouls inside of this game, but this one here is an abomination. There are 3 of them, so I'll just give you a quick look around at the abomination. Next up, we have the Lich King himself. Of course, we need to have this miniature inside the box, so we'll spin this around just so you can see all angles. The cape looks really cool. Next up, we have our heroes. Final things to go through are the cards. We'll start with the larger ones here and then go through the standard size ones right after. And that, my friends, is going to wrap up this unboxing for World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King from Z-Man Games, of course, inside the pandemic system. Hopefully this video helps you make an informed decision as to whether or not this is a game for you, whether you are a huge World of Warcraft fan, you're a fan of pandemic, or maybe both. Especially if you're both, you're probably going to be in high interest on this one. However, if neither of those two things interest you, it might be a harder sell for you, but regardless, I hope that this helps you make that choice a little easier, understanding what comes inside of the game, and also being able to check out a couple pages from the rulebook around the solo rules so you can see what's involved around that. Let me know down in the comments below what are your thoughts on this. For those of you playing it already, definitely let me know your thoughts down below. And for those of you that are maybe not even interested, let me know what it is about it that you might not be interested in. Regardless, hope to hear from you, and if you are not a part of our Patreon community, definitely recommend you find us there, as there's lots to explore and see prior to things landing on the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, keep on rolling solo.